Well, welcome, Bryan. Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Fantastic. How are you guys?
We also have Jason here. He's Jason of WrexhamPhoenix at WrexhamPhoenix. He also has the WrexhamRedDragons.com website that he runs. We do have Bryan Swarberg with us. You probably know him from Always Sunny, Mythic Quest, and of course, Welcome to Wrexham. So,
Hello.
Can't forget the Rob McElhenney song. Come on.
Oh,
he's got an epic appearance in that video.
Great little feature in that.
Is that the same hat or no? Wait, no logos.
I think it is. I had it backwards at the time, but I don't think anybody would mind about that.
For anybody out there that hasn't scoured your IMDb page, what is your role on Welcome to Wrexham?
So I'm a co-producer on Welcome to Wrexham. I help with story ideas, with, public relations as it pertains to people in the community and having them participate. There are even times where I have to shoot stuff because, important phone calls come up and it's not like we just have a crew on standby. So, there's times when like Rob's got to have a conversation with Phil. That's mostly what it's been. Or all the guys got to get together on a Zoom with like Sean and Humphrey. So I sort of like will either shoot that or I guess you call it segment produce it because, Zoom sort of takes care of that for you, but just sort of catch all whatever's necessary. Lots of travel arrangements, lots of coordination, things like that.
Yeah. You're Rob's right-hand man. People
have started to refer to me as his chief of staff, which it feels a little political, a little heightened, but I think it's a pretty good catch-all. Or, as Millie Tipping, who I'm sure you guys are familiar with, refers to me as Rob's guy. Yeah. I'll take that as well. So hat tip to Millie. I'm endeared by that, so that's fine.
Love her. She was just on there. We released the episode today with Millie. So
I saw. I haven't seen the episode yet, but I saw you guys. I saw a post on it, so I'll definitely check that out. She's incredible.
Yeah, I was watching her channel earlier, and my wife was reminding me that you actually predicted a score, kind of.
I did. Did not give the disclaimer that it would be in penalties, but I found a way to be right.
Yeah, that's all you need to do.
Look, I'm taking it as a win. Like, there was no caveats or, sub anything. So yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. You didn't put anything extra on that parlay. So take that as a win. Yeah. Well, Bryan, how did you get into film?
I started as a production assistant on the first thing that I really got a chance on, which connected me to Rob, was a little feature called Extract. It was a Mike Judge film with Jason Bateman and Mila Kunis. So in any case, started with that. And then actually that was around the same time as the last writer's strike. So I was kind of like doing non-union stuff and just trying to get along anywhere. And then as we were coming out of the strike, Rob, Charlie, and Glenn were looking for new assistants. This is now almost 15 years ago. So started as assistant, and it was kind of three of us for the three of them. And then just sort of gravitated towards Rob. I think that was a little bit by proximity, just because we sort of, I lived the closest to him. So it seems like I was always tasked with the majority of his stuff. So we sort of just connected, and I've just sort of been along for the ride with him ever since, gotten more responsibility and learned all sorts from different departments, and now doing unscripted formats, just, along for this awesome ride, which I didn't think would ever take me to North Wales, but I'm so glad it did.
Oh, yeah. And what if little Bryan Swarberg, 8-year-old, 10-year-old Swarberg saw you now? Is this the trajectory that you would have thought you were globe?
I think 8-year-old Bryan would have been like, why aren't we playing for the Padres? What happened? I thought that was the track.
That was what we're doing. Yeah.
But it was shortly after that I really got into like theater and just like entertainment in general. And I think he would be very happy with what's going on and excited and like just shocked that gotten to see so much of the world and travel so much. No, little me would be very happy.
Is there anything that has happened along that ride that is like blown your socks off, where you just had to stop, pause, and say, wait, hold on a second?
I think like meeting the king, or king to be at the time, for sure, was just insane. You know what I mean? Like, having started this doing, you know, premium cable comedy, and then like shaking hands with the King of England, which is like a great like honor. And just like, even if, you know, you're not, you know, big into the monarchy, like there is a legacy and a status there that is just so like next level. Like, I've been fortunate to meet a lot of like celebrities and athletes in the world, but it's just like the tier of that just seems so massive and insane that as the path to get there is, it doesn't seem real. So I think that was the one thing that really like, because it doesn't, I don't get like shocked easily. And at this point, I don't get like starstruck, but that was sort of like, whoa, this seems big. I think this is big. This is big, I think.
And you passed the vetting. So whatever the background was, that you were there in person.
Yeah.
So
I have no idea. I know they do it. So like, I guess I've got a clean record, you know.
That stuff from 2001, it never showed up. So
the parking tickets are all off record now. That's cleared.
Who's Bryan Swarberg?
I spelled it with an I to throw him off the scent.
Yeah. You'll never catch me now, copper. That has to be absolutely surreal to be in that position. Were you like filled with anxiety or fear or trepidation or anything? Just
you know, I was more sort of just like, I felt a little bit more like nervous by proxy for like Rob and like Humphrey and them, because they're having like real conversations. Like with me, it was like, how do you do, Your Majesty, in like a couple sentences, but like they were like holding court for an extended period of time. So I was a little nervous about that, but obviously, like, you know, those guys are pros, so I don't know why. So by the time they came up to me and had gone through the line and all that sort of stuff, I felt like, because I was at the end of the glad handing, that, you know, I had enough of a buffer to relax and settle in. So,
did you have to go through some of the training and the mentoring that Rob and Ryan had to go through?
I was there for that day of filming, so I did, you know, pay close attention to it about, you know, the two pumps and
it's a phrase.
Two pumps release. Is
that official? Is that official phrase?
I need to make a shirt out of it or something. I don't know, but I mean, it was pretty great, and just to see them like, you know, navigate that is just hilarious and awesome. So I did pay a little bit of attention, because I feel like I would have like overdone it. I definitely, if I didn't, you know, catch wind of any of that, like bowed and like been like really uber formal. But I guess in that sort of environment, you don't need all the formalities. It's just a little bit of like acknowledging the status and paying respect, but you don't have to be like, you know, full on. Okay. You know, that
it wasn't a formal event where
correct.
There was
but
tradition.
It wasn't so
and
informal
things.
that you could just give them a fist bump.
Yeah, no. Or like just dap him up and going for a hug. No, I probably would have had some
security on you.
Definitely.
Give him that double pat on the back.
Yeah.
We would have in memoriam. Bryan Swarberg is.
Yeah. Or I would be, you know, talking to you guys via like whatever incarceration system they would have. I'd be in like a holding cell under Buckingham or something.
You'd be in Brazil on a dodgy cell phone.
Wherever they would have sent me.
I only got 5 minutes. It was either this or a meal.
That'll be part two.
I told my wife I can't talk to her this week. Sorry. So
the kids
I gave the time to you guys.
And then we ruined it with an absolute trash. So you go through that good step of evolution of starting off as the PA, rise up, and then I believe I saw on IMDb a creative producer?
Fortunately for me, it's like I get to be around the writer's room. So, and then when we're talking about, seasons of Welcome to Wrexham, we're talking about, obviously what happens on the pitch navigates a lot of the story, but then, we have to pinpoint other stories that we want to tell of members in the community and the history and things like that. So I'm very fortunate that I get to be involved in those conversations as well, help navigate that a little bit and sort of flag some things that are happening throughout the season. Like, this is happening either with the team or another place in the city. We should maybe focus on that, send a crew to talk to people, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, for all of those. And then in the development side too, just being able to talk about like new projects and how you see those going. So we're gearing up for quite a bit of stuff. So once the actors and writers start getting paid what they're worth, we'll hit the ground running with a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah, and hopefully they do, because I was reading something, and not to get into the political and tie you into nothing.
Sure, yeah.
But I was reading something where it's like less than 0.091% of the annual budget would pay for the things that would settle the strike. And so it's tremendously a small amount of money in comparison to what the turnover is to just end it. But, like all things in life, it's not that easy. So
yeah, and it never is. And that's usually how it goes with most negotiations. I haven't paid too much attention to the minutia of it all, but I do know this is an important negotiation, because the first time ever, I don't want to get too deep into it, I'll just say this one thing. This is the first time where it's like job automation in our industry, and then I think it's coming up in other ones as well, it is starting to become a real option so having to protect against that, and just sort of build in guarantees, knowing that the robots are right behind us, I think is really important. So for me, it makes sense that this is going on a little longer than it should, because they really need to be looking quite a bit ways forward and making sure that everybody's taken care of after all this.
And job automation, we're talking AI.
Yeah.
And so AI for you, that's like just pissing on other celebrities at a urinal, or what is it?
No, they'll just reanimate my form and then put it on, it'll be a CGI version, or, they'll be able to take that pissing face and then now use it in other pissing content without any additional compensation, things like that.
Yeah, for the original pisser.
Yeah, you want to be able to shoot original pissing content.
That's
like got to be a lifetime goal, right?
You can't fake that either. You know what I mean? People will tell.
Oh, no.
They'll know.
You could fake it, but do you want to? Is a question.
No.
Especially when you have the likes of shaking King's hands.
If he only knew where that hand, was eventually going to be and contributing to.
Yes.
He probably would have gone for the fist bump. He probably would have.
Maybe safe to say he hadn't seen the video.
Yes,
I would say so. He did drop a Sunny reference though, which was was pretty great. Yeah. I think they had to caption it because it was very subtle to Rob, because he asked him about being in LA, and he's like, "Well, I'm from Philadelphia," and the King said, "Oh, I hear it's always sunny there." So
nice.
Yeah.
I think I picked up on that.
What world does he watch Always Sunny? Come on.
I'm sure he's got a lot of young folks working for him.
Yeah, you've got somebody that primes him right before he walks out, and they're like, make this reference here. This one-liner will nail it. It'll kill it.
Yep. And it did. It absolutely
his
did.
handlers. Yeah, no, that's perfect. I mean, it made the cut.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And if you're lucky, someone will make a meme out of it or go viral,
You hope.
Yeah.
So Bryan, when you went from Mythic Quest and Always Sunny, are those opposite shooting schedules of the year? Are you like, how does that even work? Because they're coming out like concurrently for us. We're getting to watch them.
Right. But yeah, no, you're spot on. Typically, it's been, that Sonny will start writing around winter and then shooting in spring. And then Mythic Quest can pick up once that wraps and then go, into late spring, summer, and then posting into the fall, because there's a lot of crossover, obviously, with Rob, with Megan, David Hornsby, who are all executive producers on both of those shows. And then we like to keep a lot of the same crew that we work with. So we try to do it in rep. Hopefully that we can do that with the next couple seasons of each as well, because we're going to owe a bit of content once we get back to work.
Yeah. Big library is going to be sitting out there waiting to be released. The Disney vault of all the series. Do you get some breaks in between? Because I mean, just from the outside, that sounds like you're packed back to back all year. Yeah,
and then you're just peppering Wrexham throughout. So not a ton of breaks. We'll find a week or two, maybe leave a space between when we wrap Sonny to when we start writing Mythic Quest, or vice versa. And then you always get bigger holidays. I mean, there's just times where the industry itself says we're taking a break because we know most of you are workaholics and wouldn't stop if we didn't force you. So again, God bless the unions. That's mandated for a lot of them. So yeah, we find time, but it's also like, I enjoy working. And now I think I found a pretty good way to have the life balance. The last trip that we took to Wrexham, I had my wife, my daughter, and my mom join me of the last few days of the work portion. So there's some overlap. They got to see a match. And then Rob was getting his time off right after that. So I was like, okay, let him go on his vacation and we'll stay back for our vacation. And then we watched the first cup match and hung around a bit and took in the town. And then they went to London for a bit when I went back to work. So finding ways to merge both worlds, which is a fortunate circumstance because I know a lot of people don't have that opportunity.
And how sweet is that you got to bring your family into the fold that is Wrexham, and they got to watch a match. What was their takeaways, or how do they feel about the club?
So my mom has been all in. I mean, she's a mom, so she obviously is invested in, whatever her little boy is doing. But she has been just like genuinely bitten regardless of me. Like she gets up at 6:45 to watch games at 7. They went to Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego for the Manchester United friendly. So I brought all of them there, sister, nephew, niece. So she is so all in. It's crazy. Like she'll send me, texts about like, hey, the roster's getting cut down. Like we're not losing any of like our boys, are we? Or like, or like she'll, like there's sometimes where it's like if it's a Friday night and I've like worked late or something or had an event, like I'll maybe sleep in and then miss the first half. So I'll wake up to texts from her that are like, goal, or like we're up 1, or the boys look good. I'm just like, Mom, no spoilers. So she's stoked on it. Wife is very stoked on it. And then even my daughter is really into it. I picked her up from her after school program the other day and she was out kicking a soccer ball around. Ooh. Yeah. And so when she came out, she was like, yeah, we were playing soccer. It's like, that boy was Messi. I was Paul Mullen. I was like, good job. Good job.
You are raising them right, sir.
Yeah, you're teaching them the right way.
Trying. So when it's like when it's red day at school, because they have color days, she wears the Wrexham kit. So yeah, any chance she gets to show off, she does it.
Yeah. Putting on a show, watching Wrexham FC.
Yeah,
yes.
And the only thing you gotta do is train her to say football instead of soccer.
That's true. That's true.
Hey, potato, because the story is it originally was soccer, and that was the original name.
That's what I have heard as well. And honestly, like I feel like I go back and forth, right? Like if I'm in the UK, I use football. If I'm in the States and I feel like I'm speaking with somebody who is like a casual fan or knows it as soccer, I use soccer. So
your crowd. I mean,
I try.
Yeah.
And now we saw you in San Diego, or at least I saw you in San Diego. Walked up to you.
Little brief.
Briefly. And your family was there. how did they feel about these random people coming up to you and they're like, Bryan, let me get a photo with you, and you know, the whole nine, because they were right there with you, so they got to watch that, I imagine, many times over that day.
Yeah, and then you know, they got to see it a bit in Wrexham too, just because I've made friends with so many people either online or through all my visits, because, you know, it's been almost 3 years. And, you know, we get back there pretty regularly. So I've just established all these awesome relationships. So, I mean, they thought it was awesome. My mom, you know, was very emotional about it. And then now my wife, because she spent some time over there too, and has a little bit of a presence online now, even she will, you know, get approached or tweeted at her or whatever it is. So they love it. I mean, they just think it's a really cool thing. And then my mom and stepdad and uncle, they went over there. God, I want to say like, I think May. So nothing's happening season wise, but I got them set up to at least go like tour the race course and then pop into the turf. And they had the same experience that I did, even with people that didn't know that there was any association, right? Like they're going in the turf and, oh, you're American. And people are just like chatting them up about the club and the community and wanting to buy them drinks. And so it's very endearing and familial, right? Even for them. So it's like, I think they get it now, especially because they've experienced it and they love it and they want to keep going back. I mean, there's talks about, you know, maybe the entire family going on a property or something out there, so we can, you know, have a place to visit more. I mean, it's a pipe dream, but I would love to have a little bit of a base there that everybody could take advantage of whenever they had the time.
Yeah, and I hate that you've seen through my plan and my plot and my ploy, because this all has been a long journey of me asking you for Padre tickets. And then bumping into you, asking you to come onto the pod, all so that I could just get that weekend when your family's not in the house in Wrexham.
If we'll start just treating it like a timeshare. If that house happens, we'll carve out 5 days for you a year. You know, we'll figure it out.
Well, if there's any chance you can get that house within the next 2 weeks, I'd really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, Jason's heading out there. He'll be. Yeah, he's going out there. Like what? Less than 2 weeks, is it?
Yeah. I surprised my wife for Mother's Day, and I presented her a Mother's Day card, and in there was photographs of Wrexham, and I told her that we're going to Wrexham for our anniversary this year.
That's great. So it'll be both your first visits, I assume.
Yeah, my first trip out of the country. We're going in about 2.5 weeks.
That's awesome, man. You're gonna love it. It's such a good time. I mean, and then you're going to catch a match while you're there, I assume?
Yes. We got lucky and we ended up getting tickets. We're up at 2 a.m.
Wow.
Snagged them.
And we ended up getting tickets. We've already spoken to a bunch of people. We've got, and I love her talking about familia and family and stuff, because we've had people offer to pick us up from the airport.
Yeah.
We have someone giving us a tour around Wrexham, and they've also invited us into their home for dinner. We're going to their house for dinner, and it's amazing. And it's not just 1 or 2 people. There's like a dozen people that have made us the same offers.
Yep.
And it's just incredible. It's so heartwarming, and it's just so different from what I'm used to. It almost makes you wonder if it's real. Because, I don't experience that out here. Certainly didn't experience it in Los Angeles when I lived there.
And there's not a lot of space in Los Angeles, but and you know, I've heard this story now quite a few different times from different people, and it's just it warms my heart. I mean, because essentially, like if you're a part of this and you want to be involved, we will include you just like your family, to the point where like opening up their personal space, you know, their homes to essentially, you know, strangers other than a digital relationship, you know. But if you're supporting this club and the community, then we're supporting you too. And it's just that, like you said, like nothing I've ever experienced. And it just makes you care more and root more, you know, because these fans go back 4 generations, right? I mean, they are so rooted in this, but how I think they introduce new fans, acclimate them, and just bring them in and make them fall in love is just, if you feel like, you're a generational fan, because they're just so good about getting you right in the mix and making you feel like you belong.
Yeah, it's the Olive Garden of football teams.
When you're here, your family.
Yeah. Oh, and the free breadsticks. But right. When you're here, your family. Yeah, that one too.
Welsh cakes. I don't know if you've had a Welsh cake yet, but they are delicious.
I didn't. The only thing I had when I went over there that was odd was I had the blood sausage. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It is what it is. I mean, it's not something I'm going to eat every day, but I ate it. I wasn't disturbed by it.
Any black pudding?
I didn't have black pudding.
If you don't think about what it is and just eat it, it's fine.
That's true. That's true.
I was in college.
I've tried escargot. I've tried caviar. I mean, I could try blood pudding if I just don't think about what it is I'm eating.
Right.
Well, and Bryan, you obviously being a part of the production, you hear these stories, over and over and over again. If you had the control to put something in motion and into direction, and maybe you already have, and you can't reveal it to us, but would there be another project that you would be involving yourself in within either the Wrexham community or within the football club, like as a role? Because I know you're producing on the film side, but it sounds like you're catching the Wrexham fever for the football team too.
Oh, I mean, totally. Like it's already in sort of motion, but there's lots of things that we're wanting to do with that city. And I won't speak to them all just yet in specifics, but not just telling stories. And there are different stories that we want to tell over there. And whether that's through the vehicle of the doc or something else is sort of to be determined. But no, I mean, we're having great conversations with Wrexham Council about other things. And then, we're partnering with businesses over there and establishing those relationships. So yeah, even outside of if there's a story that's told from it or not, we want to be very involved and contributing. And that was the goal from the onset, was like, yes, there's a club, and yes, we're going to still tell a story about the club. But there's also a city here that is just charming and friendly and fantastic. And whatever we can do to promote it and build it up and give them more tourism and business, we're going to do. And we've got some things in development. So
yeah, in the pipeline. I can't have you release all the golden details. Yeah, I know, Bryan, you do have to run at a point. So I did want to get a couple of things from you for the people out there that are like Jason, who are heading to Wrexham. A lot of the people that watch our channel are new fans, getting the basics, the 101s. This is just like an introductory course to Wrexham for them. If they're heading out, what are some places that you've either ate at, got a drink at, sites that you've seen that you might suggest people go and catch and do?
Fat Boar is a classic. And then there was another one. I feel like it was Red something. Why can't I think of it? Hold on, this can be movie magic. We pause this because this was great because we had the kid with us. So it was this great little pub restaurant that had a bounce castle in the back. Cool. And then they had like picnic tables. So like you could take your drinks out there, let the kids go on the playground in the bounce house, and you're just chatting up other adults and having a good time. Yeah. The Red Line, which is in, I'm going to mispronounce this, Marchwil, Marchwiel, Marchwiel.
Again, I haven't started the Duolingo yet, so I don't know.
Yep. You'll get there. So that place was great. Going into City Center and spending time there, go to St. Giles.
Yeah.
It's just like super, just like classic. I don't think it's officially a cathedral, but it is. It's a church. That's where Yale is buried.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun history
buried there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
get off, let's see, the beaten path a little bit. Going into Pulford, there's a nice hotel restaurant there, the Grosvenor Pulford.
Ooh, okay.
Nice restaurant in that area. And then there's another restaurant. Let me find this one where Rob and I went with a lot of his family when they were in town. What was that?
I can start listing some off that I found.
Well, he's about to give you the official secret location that Rob went. You can eat at the same place.
Bryan and Rob approved. Carnivore?
What was it?
Was
Carnivore?
it
Carnivore? That's it.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you very much.
Carnivore,
Yes.
which I think is also owned by Fat Boar, the same proprietors.
Yes.
Is it?
I think
it is. The Fat Boar also now has a mural of Paul Mullen on the side of it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then so right across from Carnivore is where it's not like a farmer's market. What would you call it? Like a bazaar? I don't even.
Oh, okay. And those are cool spots because you gave 2 good or 3 good food places, also an inn where they can stay. And all of these places, you can eat and stay where Bryan Swarberg stayed. It has the essence of Bryan still there.
Don't drop my name. That won't do you any favors.
I'm sure that if you walked around and you're like, do you know Bryan Swarberg in Wrexham? I'm sure a ton of people know who you are.
Last year, Wayne gave like this really big number that I couldn't even like wrap my head around. I feel like it was in the thousands because he started just sort of keeping like a loose tally between him and the staff of American visitors that they had gotten last season after the season 1 of the doc. It was a big number.
How's
Business
that feel?
is a booming in general.
To be a part of that. How does that feel to be a part of that thing that is bringing so much positive change for people?
It's indescribable. I mean, I don't think the last time I cried and the last time from before that, probably 6-7 years was when we got promoted. And it wasn't just because like of what we had endured, which was what compared to what the fans have. This had been a few years, but just knowing everything that it meant to these people that had been so kind and have cared for so long, and being somebody who is just so invested in my hometown, my sports teams, and knowing what that can do for your communities, for your families, how it brings people together, how it's more than just a sport. Like I broke down. I had to I went to the bathroom because I didn't want to do it in front of people. Right. And then I came out and Rob was done. So he gave me a big hug. Then I started crying again. So yeah, it's
I got chills, man. I got chills.
It's just one of the best things in the world. And it's just so hard to even describe. It's like, that level of excitement and emotion, I feel like has only existed in 2 other times in my life. And one was the day they got married, where it's just like, you've got so much adrenaline, but also all these emotions and excitement, and you're happy. And then when my daughter was born, it's just like this excitement and adrenaline, but also this joy that just overwhelms you to the point that you just can't help but get a little bit emotional about it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it really is. It's awesome. And I think the biggest part of that is because of those people and being so welcoming and making you feel like family, and that they let you in to be a part of that. Otherwise, if it was just a team winning promotion, I mean, that's just surface level stuff. But it feels just bigger. It feels familial. I know I've said that a few times, but it feels like family. So
well put.
Yeah.
Well, Bryan, thank you so much.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope I gave you something you can use.
you gave plenty to use, and thank you for teaching us how to Wrexham the Bryan Swarberg way. And if there's one episode that hasn't aired yet that people need to look out for and make sure they don't miss under any circumstance, which one is it?
That's the women's episode.
All right.
So I believe, and don't totally quote me on it, but it should be the October 17th episode. I believe it will be our 8th.
All right. Well, thank you, Bryan.
Thank you
so much.
This was fun. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a good time. Good night with your daughter, picking her up. And until we see you again, happy pissing on things and stuff. And like we always say, up the town.
Up the town.
Up the town.
Get in. See you guys.
All right,
Until next time.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. Bye, man.
What was that?
Yeah.
Right. Swansea's the top team in that league, right? Like they've almost consistently won that league for the past several years.
Well, and John Davis is down, which is unfortunate. You know, she looked phenomenal out there. Their star player, who maybe it was a hamstring or knee injury that took her out somewhere around the second half. If you remember, for Swansea, she went down and had to get carted off, and she looked phenomenal out there. Yeah. I mean, I would love to see more of Hughes versus Davis. That would be.
And it was a tough game, like in general. They were going down, like Dell got knocked out for the last 10, 12 minutes. I mean, there were some hard challenges there. And like, I mean, they put it all on the line. It was a very exciting match.
And I don't want to say it's more pure and compared to any type of comparison to anything, but man, do I love watching how they play. If someone's on the ground like Del Morgan or John Davis, they were hurt, and that's why they were rolling around on the ground. Because you'll see, like, is it Karopoulos? Is that how you say the new?
Carrie Akopoulos, I think.
Carrie Akopoulos. Okay,
she's a badass.
Yes,
she might be my new favorite player.
Yes, she came out and she said, Honey Badger don't give a fuck.
Did she?
No. That's what I read.
Like in persona. Yeah.
In persona. She came out and she just trucked that. What was it, Morgan or something that was on there?
And then she went and got in her face and she was like, what do you think you're doing? Like, didn't back down at all. And then she was like, oh, you're right. She backed down. You puffed up your chest first, and now you're like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I wasn't serious.
Yeah. She went, oh, we're pulling cards right now. All
right.
Sorry, madame, as you were. Yeah.